All right, let's dive into the incredible wisdom of the legendary business philosopher Jim Rohn. Today, we're breaking down his simple but truly profound system that took him from being flat broke to a millionaire in just 6 years. It's all built on one powerful idea. You don't get what you want in life. Nope, you get what you are.
And this is where Rohn always started. It's a non-negotiable truth, right? You can always find a way to make another dollar, but you can never, ever get back a single second you've spent. This is exactly why his philosophy is so urgent. If time is our most precious resource, the big question is, are you designing your life on purpose, or are you just kind of letting it happen to you? This idea is the bedrock for everything else we're about to cover.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to look at Rohn's own incredible story, how he went from pennies to a fortune. Then, we'll get into the heart of his system, the 5 pieces of life. We'll see why your personal philosophy is like the sail on a ship and how that one thing shapes your attitude, your actions, your results, and ultimately, the kind of life you get to live.
To really get Rohn's framework, you have to understand his problem first. You see, his own life was the first experiment. And believe me, he did not start out with all the answers. I mean, just look at the speed of this turnaround. For 6 long years, he was spinning his wheels, getting nowhere. Then he meets his mentor. And just 6 years after that, he's a millionaire. So what on earth could create such a massive change so fast? It wasn't the economy. It wasn't his job. The change was 100% internal.
And this was the light bulb moment. Rohn was trapped by his blame list, as he called it. It was the government's fault, it was the taxes, it was the company, it was the prices. But his mentor showed him that the real issue wasn't what was happening out there. The problem was his own thinking. To change his life, he didn't need new circumstances. He needed a new personal philosophy.
And from that huge realization, Rohn built this beautifully simple and powerful framework, the 5 major pieces of the life puzzle. You can think of it as the personal operating system he used to completely redesign his entire life.
So here they are, the 5 pieces. It all starts with your philosophy, what you know and how you think. That directly shapes your attitude, how you feel about things. Your attitude then provides the fuel for your activity, what you actually go out and do. Your activity produces results, which you have to track. And finally, the sum of all those parts creates your lifestyle. See how each one just flows right into the next?
Now, Rohn was adamant that philosophy is the most important piece of all. It's not just the foundation, it's the steering wheel for your entire life. It determines your destination long before you ever even start moving.
And this metaphor just illustrates it perfectly. Rohn used to say that the same winds of circumstance blow on all of us, right? The wind of the economy, the wind of heartbreak, the wind of opportunity. The thing that decides where we end up isn't the wind. We can't change the wind. It's the set of our sail, our philosophy. And that we have complete control over. So how does a bad philosophy lead to failure? Well, Rohn's answer is both simple and, honestly, a little terrifying. He said failure isn't some big one-time disaster. It's just a few small errors in judgment, repeated every single day. It's choosing the candy bar instead of the apple and telling yourself, it's just for today. But that tiny error, compounded over years, it leads to an inevitable disaster. And guess what? Success works the exact same way. It's not one giant leap. It's just a few simple disciplines practiced every single day. Choosing the apple, taking a walk around the block, reading just 10 pages of a good book. It's the consistent daily practice of these simple little things that compounds into a fortune, into great health, into an incredible life. Okay, so you've set your sail with a solid philosophy. That's awesome. But a perfectly set sail is pretty useless if the boat just sits in the harbor. That's where the next 3 pieces come in: attitude, action, and results. This is how you turn what you know into what you actually get. Your philosophy directly powers your attitude, which is basically your emotional fuel. Rohn said you have to get your feelings right about 4 key things. First, the past. You've got to use it as a school to learn from, not a club to beat yourself with. Second, the future. Let its promise and excitement pull you forward. Third, other people. You have to recognize that we're all in this together. And finally, yourself. You have to build your self-worth, because that's where all progress begins. Next up is activity. And this, my friends, is where the magic happens, where potential turns into reality. A great philosophy and a positive attitude are worthless if you don't do anything. Rohn had this powerful analogy.
We aren't responsible for the miracle of turning a tiny seed into a massive tree. The universe, or God, or nature, whatever you want to call it, handles that by.
Our part is just to plant the seed. That's it. It's the discipline of doing the simple thing we can do, taking that first step. You don't have to create the whole harvest, but you absolutely have to put the seed in the ground. Activity is our side of this miracle partnership.
Now, once you start taking action, you have to look at your results. You have to check the scoreboard. Rohn warned against just hoping for the best and never checking in. Are you making progress you can actually measure? Your results are the ultimate feedback. They tell you if your philosophy and your actions are working. They either say, hey, you're on the right track, or they signal, whoops, time to adjust the sail a little. Okay, so let's put it all together. A sound philosophy fuels a positive attitude, which inspires disciplined activity, which produces measurable results. When you get those 4 pieces lined up, you unlock the 5th and final piece, the power to consciously and deliberately design your own lifestyle.
And this is the real key to that lifestyle. Your life, your income, your health, your relationships, they don't get better by chance, they get better by change. Rohn taught that what you currently have in your life, you've attracted by the person you've become. So if you want to change what you have, you first have to change who you are. Personal development isn't a hobby. It's the foundation of a better life.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It is a direct challenge to take 100% ownership of your life. The goal isn't to hope for a weaker wind. It's to build a better sail. Stop wishing you had fewer problems and start wishing you had more skills. That is the very essence of personal responsibility.
So, as we wrap this up, Jim Rohn's entire philosophy really boils down to this one simple question. Forget about some massive, overwhelming life change. Real, lasting success is built on a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. It all starts with just one. So, what's it going to be? The apple? The walk? Reading 10 pages of that book? The choice is all yours. And as Jim Rohn would say, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now.